Hi, everyone. It's Angie. Welcome to the Artist to Artist podcast. Today, we are going to talk about something that I think really separates new makeup artists from more experienced ones, and that is working quickly without being sloppy or sacrificing quality. I think this topic gets misunderstood all the time. I think a lot of newer makeup artists think that being fast means doing a bad job, or they think that after a bit of practice, they should be way faster than they already are. What I want to do in this episode is break this all down for you, talk about what real speed looks like, talk about how I learned to work quickly as an artist, and how you can as well. I think one of the most important things to remember and understand as a working makeup artist, first off, is that your clients are not building the schedule for the day around you. You are working within the time frame that your clients give you. That's the reality of this job. So when I say I work quickly, I don't mean I've just picked a time that feels comfortable for me. I mean, I work to the time that they give me when I show up to a job, and I'm still expected to turn out a pro result, or we'll just say a camera ready result for the sake of this episode. In commercial work or e-commerce, which I do a lot of, I usually get about an hour for hair and makeup, sometimes 45 minutes. I just did 3 episodes of a show that I just wrapped, and I had 1 hour for hair and makeup for one of the hosts. For bridal parties, I like to have an hour for makeup when I can get it, but most often it's 45 minutes. For hair, when I do hair for bridal and special events, I prefer a full hour. Sometimes I don't get it. These are tight timelines, but they are normal for like 95% of the work that I do. Working fast doesn't mean doing the fastest beat possible. It just means delivering what your client needs within the time that you're given while still maintaining quality and attention to detail. Let's talk about what that actually looks like. When time is tight, this means you need to simplify your application process. And I don't mean sacrificing quality and attention to detail. I mean letting go of steps that don't really serve the final look. For me, the first thing I usually streamline is eye makeup. A lot of the commercial work I do, I don't need complex eyeshadow looks. In fact, simple eye makeup looks with a nice natural false lash or a couple coats of mascara will do more for the look than spending time blending 6 shades of eyeshadow into a crease or creating a cut crease, especially when the foundation and the skin looks really good. I find I have to do a lot less on the eyes for things to look camera ready. I mentioned this already, but if I'm doing something a little more glam, I often rely on false lashes to take me further without needing to build up a lot of shadow. I also, when I have to work fast, will usually skip a lot of the cream products that I like to use when possible, of course, because they take longer to blend. So instead of cream bronzer, cream blush, I'll go right into my foundation first, then powder bronzer, powder blush, and skip all those cream application steps altogether. I find a lot of the powders to be much faster. I really like powder foundation. A lot of powder blushes give a beautiful smooth finish to the skin. Same thing with bronzers. They really just give me the look that I need in half the time. The other thing I'll skip, and this is probably controversial, but if my client has done a solid skin prep, I will skip that entirely. I will scan the skin, do the touch test, make sure everything is smooth, well hydrated, and then I'll go straight to foundation if the skin prep is done well. The other thing, and this also might be surprising to a lot of you, is that I often skip brows, especially if my clients have a strong natural brow and I don't really need to do anything, because I don't feel the pressure at this point or the need to do steps of the makeup that are not really helping the final look. If someone has beautiful brows, I don't need to go in and fill in the brow or use a tinted gel on the brow. I can just brush through the brows or maybe use a little bit of brow pomade and brow gel, and the brows are done. Speed is really about intentionality. You don't waste time on things that don't matter for the face, for the lighting, for the job you're on. The other thing that I do is if I know I'm going to have a couple minutes later on to perfect something on set, like cheeks or lips, let's say, I'll take it. But in those first 10 to 15 minutes, I'm prioritizing the most important parts of the look, the structure of the look. And that's really what it means to work quickly in the real world. You have to be smart, you have to think critically, and you have to be decisive. And all of that comes with experience. It's not about product hacks, it's about your instincts and You develop those instincts by doing this job over and over and over again, and you just know what works, what's not going to work. You can kind of really feel out the time. When you take a look at your client in front of you, you know what's going to have to get done to achieve the look that you want on camera. For those of you that are in the Artist to Artist membership with me, speed is one of those things I talk about a lot. I created a series of videos called the Speed series because this is a skill I don't think people are teaching properly. It is not sexy for social media, and sometimes when you have to work fast, it doesn't look as pretty as you would like it to, but it is a mandatory skill, I would say, in this line of work. How you work quickly is also going to depend on the job and the model's skin, of course, the final look that's requested. And it's not always going to be predictable. Your time is not predictable. What is going to happen with the person in your chair, not predictable, which is why in the membership, I wanted to share some of the real-time application videos from actual jobs where I have that timing that's less than 30 minutes or that's between like 15 and 20 minutes to get someone camera ready. So you can see how I move, how I adapt, where I decide to spend time or not. So if you are a member, this stuff is already live inside the membership, and I'll be adding new content to this consistently. And if you're not a member, this is just the kind of thing that's not going to be readily available to you anywhere. You can learn certain steps and a lot of theory on social media, but on the job execution, this is really where I want to teach you and what I want to show you in the membership. If you are looking for free content on this, you want to find people who are sharing content, who are actively working on set so that the information that you're getting will work in the real world. So that's something that's I wanted to call out and I think is important for you to remember. If you are looking for tips on how to work faster as a makeup artist, you're going to get a lot of surface level stuff, but you really need to see artists that are working in the moment to see the decision-making process and what they choose to focus on and what they choose to leave out. That's the education that is going to give you the insight to help you work faster. If you're a newer artist and you're listening, here's something I need you to stop doing right away. Please stop trying to follow these like 12 or 20-step makeup applications that you see on social media. Most of these tutorials are made to sell products. They are not really about real life on the job artistry. They're not teaching you to move fast. They're essentially just teaching you how to stack and layer product. That's fine if you're doing content and you're working on yourself or you're working in a corner of the industry where your clients want that as well. There is value there. But if you're trying to build a career similar to mine, you need to learn how to get results with fewer products and more skill. Another mindset shift that I want you to take away from this episode, stop chasing perfection. Please hear me when I say this. This is not the goal. Most of the time, good enough is the goal. It's not a bad thing when the standard for good is still professional, it's clean, it's polished, and it's quick. So good enough is good enough. I get asked a lot how I stay calm under pressure because that's a big part of being able to work quickly as a makeup artist. And how do I keep it together and still make sure I'm taking care of all the things with the makeup application, dealing with the talent. And the truth for me is I actually really enjoy working under pressure now. It's definitely not easy, but I think I enjoy it because I know I'll learn something or I'll improve from that experience. I have worked under crazy, insane deadlines for most of my career. I have collected very challenging clients. And every time these clients have put me in some insane situation, I manage to get through it and I prove something to myself. And I think now, because I've had all this experience, that's why I don't panic when timelines are tight. I've been in enough of those situations to know I can handle it. I know what I'm doing. And if it's not perfect, it still can be good work. But you don't get that confidence without repetition. If you're not there yet, you're still second guessing your steps. If you're still kind of fiddling with every detail, just know that that is normal and this is part of the learning process. And you will get faster, not by rushing, but by doing the work, learning what actually matters, and building your instincts over time and putting yourself in those kind of uncomfortable and stressful situations. It's hard to do, but it makes you so much better as an artist and so much faster. I wanted to add a segment to this podcast before I wrap, where I answer some questions that I have received about previous podcasts that I've done. I got a question on Instagram that actually ties into last week's episode about assisting. So I'm going to read the message that I received with the question. So it says, Angie, I listened to your episode about assisting and I loved it. Thank you. I'm glad. I reached out to one of my previous headshot makeup artists who's also been a real help to me, and I checked in with her about assisting. She said she would love to have me. However, we are in the headshot niche of the industry, and she said photographers wouldn't want to have me due to spatial constraints. She's very open to doing a free work session with me, helping me with my struggles and collaborating in other ways. How else do you suggest assisting in the headshot niche specifically? What are some other things I can be doing? I'm also trying to build relationships with photographers as well, and it's pretty tough. So this is a very smart question. It shows the artist who sent this to me, it just shows that you are thinking long term, which I love, and you're looking for other ways to expand your network, which is awesome. So first off, if someone tells you there's no room on set for an assistant, believe them. Headshot setups can be small, and that's not a reflection on you. And the headshot experience, this is one of those things within the industry. It's a very unique experience. With headshots, a lot of photographers like to work in a more intimate setting with their talent, and having too many people on set can be distracting for the photographer and for the talent. That is a true thing that happens with headshots. Every photographer is different. There's an exception to every rule. But generally, the headshot experience, the photographer sometimes has to work very hard to get an authentic look from, or I guess response, or I don't know how to say this, but headshot photographers do have to pull a lot out of their talent sometimes to get the right look so that it's an accurate reflection of who this actor is and the people that they can portray so that, they'll be considered for jobs. So it's kind of a big pressure situation. And to have too many people around, this can be a pain in the butt too. Also, for headshots, you don't need a lot of stuff. And generally, headshot photographers work in smaller spaces. That's been my experience as well. So that's just something I wanted to let you know. It's kind of normal in this area of the industry. But from this question, this artist is offering you a free session to help you work through challenges and build skills, and that is so valuable on its own. You're getting this person's time, their perspective, mentorship. That is huge. So take that and run with it. And arguably, that could be more valuable to you than assisting. So make sure you buy this person lunch, a coffee, something, please. When someone offers you their time, give them something in return. The second thing I wanted to mention is that building relationships takes time, a lot of time, not just weeks, months, days. It could be years. I have had people hire me recently that I met 5 or 6 years ago when I first introduced myself. And that's normal. And that's part of the game. And that's why we're always playing the long game. Shift your perspective. Things don't happen quickly. Sometimes they do. And again, there's exception to every rule, but trusting people in the industry, getting someone to trust you, you trusting them, it takes a long time sometimes. And sometimes trust is built through work experiences or shoots together, TFPs, paid, whatever it is. And sometimes it can take a long time to get the ball rolling on those things. But once it starts rolling, more opportunities can come up for you. I think just patience and staying on the ball and continuing to network and speak with headshot photographers and makeup artists, you will uncover something through your networking for sure. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I think you just maybe haven't been in this game long enough yet. So just continue to do what you're doing. I don't think anyone should expect to send a few DMs or emails and suddenly get assisting opportunities. That's just not how this works. Just keep showing up, keep reaching out, and just be patient. It takes a long time for people to trust others just generally, and there is nothing different about that in this scenario. You just have to continue plugging away and connecting with people in that space who are at your level and more senior to see where you can kind of, I always say this, start moving the peanuts around and get some momentum going for yourself. Whether that is an opportunity with a new headshot photographer so you can learn that way, or assisting a senior makeup artist for headshots. Okay, I think that's everything for this episode. If you're looking to work faster, you're looking to feel more confident on the job and really understand or see what it means to work quickly, the Speed Series inside the Artist to Artist membership is where you will find that. I really want you to learn from real world examples, not from more curated tutorials that are really just made for social. So I'll just leave you with that. Thank you so much for listening today. If you think this episode would be helpful to someone else who's stressed about working quickly, send it along. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, subscribe to Artist on Instagram, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.